Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Entering a realm between the hidden and forgotten, a slipstream caught between realities, a secret museum of the esoteric, the private library of shadows, all taking place in a world forged from mystery and caught between logic and myth. You are entering ParaReality.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of ParaReality Flashback, where I revisit a past episode of the podcast. Now, if you've been listening from the beginning, you'll know that I started this ParaReality Flashback journey back in January of this year with the very first episode that I did ever, Season 1, Episode 1. Then last month I played Episode 2, and guess what? You guessed it, that's right, it's time for Episode 3. So tonight, we're going to go all the way back to January of 2004. Now, this was only the third episode that I ever did, ever. And back then, I was on the Live365 Radio network. And at that time, it was internet radio and not podcasting that was the big thing. In fact, podcasting didn't even exist back then. And at the time, I didn't have anything equipment-wise except for a janky headset microphone that I plugged directly into the 3.5 millimeter microphone jack on the computer. I couldn't afford anything else. And I think you'll be able to tell by the sound quality that what I was working with wasn't very expensive. But it's all I could afford, and it's all I had, and all I needed was that headset, a computer, and an internet connection, and my dream of having my own radio talk show was realized. Now, on this particular episode, I'm discussing the spirits of the dead, what they are, and how to contact them. Now, keep in mind, this is not my best work by any stretch of the means. It was only the third show that I'd ever done, and I was still learning how to be a talk show host, and the identity of the show hadn't been established yet. And I think you'll definitely be able to tell all that. And it'd take me a while to develop my style and make the show what I wanted it to be, but until then, the only way to figure it out was to just do it. And it was trial by fire, baby, and you just had to do it. And that's what I did. But anyway, I hope that you'll take the time to listen to at least part of this episode, because it kind of shows you how far I've come and how the show has evolved over the years and how I developed my style. So without any further delay, I present to you ParaReality Flashback, Episode 3, Spirits of the Dead. This was originally recorded on January the 25th, 2004. Hope you enjoy it.
Got the audio problems fixed. Hello and welcome to ParaReality Radio. It is Saturday night, January 23rd, 2004, Just having all kind of problems on the air tonight. My God, I'm running a little late with my broadcast. I want to apologize to everybody out there. I've been having all kinds of damn technical problems with everything tonight. Computer's been freezing up. Things have been happening. I can't get my playlist to work right. This is just killing me. So hopefully I've got everything just about all worked out now, for God's sake. So, with that being said, let me reintroduce myself. Hello, and welcome to ParaReality Radio. I'm your host, Sandman, coming to you live tonight, Saturday, January 23rd, 2004. On the air a little late tonight, but better late than never. Whew, man, I tell you what, it was a heck of a time getting this thing started on the air tonight. I'm telling you, it's just been rough. Thank you for tuning in and listening, those of you out there who will be listening. By the way, my chat room is up and running on Yahoo. If you'll go into the religion section on the Yahoo chat and go into ParaReality Radio, you'll find it right there in the religious section on the Yahoo chat rooms. So if you want to check my chat room out, come on in there. There probably won't be anybody in there, but you're more than welcome to give it a shot. I'm not going to have my net meeting up and running tonight because of technical difficulties, so if you want to get in contact with me, you'll just have to get on the Yahoo chat if you do happen to have Yahoo chat. If you don't, I suggest you get it. Hopefully everything will work out good with the Yahoo chat. So, with that being said, let me tell you about what tonight's show is going to be about. Tonight's show is entitled Spirits of the Dead. Actually, it's Understanding the Spirits of the Dead. For those of you out there who have missed my first several broadcasts, tell you a little bit about myself. I am a certified ghost hunter and certified paranormal investigator with the International Ghost Hunter Society, the IGHS. And I think that it's very, very, very possible that something of our souls, our spirits, whatever you want to call it, survives after death, and that you can have hauntings, and you can have ghosts, and you can even have people possessed by the dead. And tonight's show is entitled Understanding the Spirits of the Dead, and we're going to talk a little bit about ways that you can hopefully understand what's going on if you are experiencing a haunting or know someone who is experiencing a haunting. And by the way, before I go any further, I would like to welcome on board my first ever sponsor of the show. It's Vlad's Vault. I'd like to say hello and welcome aboard on ParaReality Radio to Vlad and Igor and all the gang over at Vlad's Vault. For those of you out there who are listening, I suggest you go visit Vlad's Vault. My God, say that fast 3 times. I suggest you go visit Vlad's Vault. Its address on the World Wide Web is www.vladsvault.com. That's VLADSVAULT. www.vladsvault.com. Vlad's Vault is a horror movie review site. You can read horror movie reviews or post your own. They've got stuff like links to other horror-related sites, filmographies of some of your favorite horror actors. They also have a nice collection of horror-related wallpapers for you to download if you like to download a lot of wallpapers and you're into the horror stuff. They got a lot of, not a lot, but a pretty good bit of horror-related wallpaper to download. Excuse me. Or you can just simply visit the forum section at vladsvault.com and just speak your mind about whatever it is you want to speak out about. Excuse me, I got a little tickle in my throat here tonight. Excuse me. So, if you're on the World Wide Web, which you got to be if you're listening to this show, check them out, www.vladsvault.com. Great website. I want to welcome them as a sponsor of the show, the first official sponsor of ParaReality Radio. Go check them out. Tell them Sandman sent you. Post a review, read a review. Tell them all what a great website they've got. You're doing a good job out there, Vlad and Igor. And thank you and welcome aboard to ParaReality Radio. Let's get on with the show, and let's start talking about understanding the spirits of the dead.
Spring break isn't what it used to be. It's better. This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card. Life's a trip. Make the most of it at Best Western. Visit bestwestern.com for complete terms and conditions.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The fundamental nature of reality is based upon our perception of it. We judge our environment based on our understanding of what this reality is. Our 5 senses shape it. Sight, sound, taste, smell, touch, they all shape this reality. If we can't see it, touch it, or if we can't hear an event, we usually disregard it as being totally non-existent. Now, the esoteric view suggests that the universe is nothing more than energy in a specific relationship and at a specific vibrational frequency. This esoteric view of reality is the essence of our basis for understanding the metaphysics of the spirit realm. During life, a person exhibits behavioral characteristics such as personality, intelligence, and emotions. As a person crosses the threshold of death, the soul or the spirit retains all of these human characteristics like intelligence, attitudes, beliefs, and emotions. They're not just simply disembodied spirits without a personality, or without intelligence or without emotions. If a departed spirit was happy in life, then he or she will be a happy spirit. Now, conversely, if they were angry in life, they will probably retain this angry disposition in death and act in the same manner. So if you've got a good person who is happy-go-lucky, they die, hopefully they'll have a happy-go-lucky spirit. Same thing if you got an evil person, a bad person, an immoral person, someone who is unhappy, their spirit will probably retain all of that, and that's what kind of spirit they will have. Death does not change the intelligence, emotions, attitude, or personality of those who cross through this portal or this threshold. The humanism of each of us survives the physical death. Our previous understanding of life after death has been very limited. It's not a black or white approach, but it's like all the different shades of gray. There's something like 256 shades of gray or something like that. Death is not black or white, but it's another dimension where life continues in much the same pattern as upon the earth. It's like the life without the physical body, but a spiritual embodiment of the pure energy of who we were when we were alive and on earth. So, what are ghosts? I know you probably have asked yourself that, no telling how many times. What are ghosts? Well, ghosts are departed souls who have lived and died here on this plane, this current state of existence. Check my chat room. No one's in it yet. Okay. Ghosts are departed souls who have lived and died on the earth, but for some reason they have either elected or been forced to remain on this plane of existence after they're dead. I believe that the intelligence and the emotions that make up who we are in this life survives and goes beyond the death process. This energy, call it our souls, if you will, it's not destroyed at the time of our death, but it's transformed into another kind of configuration. This presence of energy is detectable with the EMF meter, the electromagnetic field meter, that measures in milligauss units. Now, since we can measure the physical energy emitted by these entities, we know that ghosts are not figments of our imagination, as the skeptics who are out there, and there are many out there, as you know. That's what they want us to believe, that it's a figment of our imagination. With these EMF detectors, we can measure the energy that's been left by these spirits, and we know that the ghosts are not figments of our imagination like the skeptics want us to believe. So, let's talk about some orthodox views. The orthodox ghost hunting community teaches that this soul, or this spirit, or this energy is a disembodied spirit that totally is void of any human qualities. This disembodied soul or spirit is a fragment of the soul trapped within the orthodox community, comes from writings and books published in the last century or during the early years of this century during the spiritualist movement. A lot of times ghost hunters rely upon what's been already written for their understanding of things without attempting to prove or disprove the basis for that knowledge. This helps to account for the orthodox views that suggest ghosts are fragmented souls and that portions of the soul are trapped here while other parts are elsewhere. Now, as I previously mentioned, I'm with the International Ghost Hunter Society, the IGHS. Now, the IGHS, and myself included, doesn't really accept the orthodox perspectives about the spirits of the dead based on these orthodox views. There's been new discoveries and new insights that suggest that the disembodied spirit is not an it, but it's a transformed or some kind of evolved life that for some unknown reason to all of us here on this plane of existence is chosen to remain behind on this earth plane as a ghost. Now, there is such a thing that a lot of people believe is like a tape recording type haunting where a spirit will reenact a certain event over and over and over again, kind of like it's in a time loop or a time warp. The IGHS, which I am a certified member, ghost hunter of, paranormal investigator of, they don't believe in this. However, I do believe that spirits can come back and reenact an event over and over and over again in a time loop, like a tape recorder playing, but I believe that they choose to do this for whatever reason it is. I don't know. They're torturing themselves. They feel like they're trying to finish this event, whatever it was that happened. So my beliefs in the IGHS sometimes don't always mesh, but hey, it's America, so I'm free to have my own opinions. The soul may not be fragmented, but it may be confused, it may be lost, or it just may simply just feel comfortable staying where it's at, which is here on this existence. Many reasons can account for the soul remaining here, like unfinished business, unresolved issues, or maybe they just want to watch over friends and family members. Some spirits will return at will just to be near their loved ones. Others, the ones that are in this time loop and act over and over again, I believe are trapped here because of some sort of excessive emotional baggage that they're still carrying over from their life on this plane. The old adage that beauty is in the eye of the beholder is also true in ghost research. One person may see some kind of an anomaly on a print, such as a picture, and believe it to be an angel, while somebody else can look at it and see it as a spirit or a ghost that is, let's say, demonic. The anomaly is still the same, but it's our perception of it that colors our views towards what it is. Let's take, for example, if we are taught that departed spirits are just fundamentally evil or demonic, then we'll probably view all poltergeist encounters as evil and ghosts as therefore demonic, all ghosts as being demonic. This conflict develops when the departed spirit is a loved one who has returned to watch over their spouse or their friends or their family. Since that person in life was a good person, now how can the spirit of this person be evil? How can it be demonic? This internal conflict results in the person experiencing the phenomena just to ignore the event completely because they don't understand it and they can't deal with it. Now let's suppose for a minute we consider a ghost to be the essence of a deceased person. The personality, emotions, and intelligence, as I've already stated, survives death and passes over and continues to exist within the spirit. This spirit entity can reason, it can think, just like it did while it was existing live and in the flesh. Its emotional makeup remains the same. Therefore, the person, if he was easygoing in life, the spirit is going to be of like nature, just like I said before. Now, in the same manner, the person was bitter, angry, or had some kind of unresolved issues in his life, the spirit will feel the same way after death. This type of entity may now show an unpleasant disposition when contacted, or if it chooses a home to inhabit, then the ghostly activities will mirror its attitude. Now, we need to be able to take notice of these various types of behavioral patterns in the spirit or the ghost. So, if you have a haunting, you need to make sure you notice what kind of attitude your supposed ghost has. Is it friendly? Is it playful? Does it seem angry? Does it seem demonic? And you can tell by what things go on in the house. If because you might hear noises and footsteps in the house does not mean that it's any of the above mentioned things. You're still going to have to figure out what it is. But if it's, let's say, turning off the lights every time you step in the shower, that could be a little kid. It could be a ghost of a little kid playing a prank. Have you had a relative or a loved one, a family member who was a small child, died recently? Was it someone that just liked to play jokes? Notice what kind of stuff happens with the spirit. Whatever type of entity it is that's in your home, this type of entity is often going to gravitate towards members who are of like disposition. It's going to gravitate towards a home whose family members are of the same makeup mentally and emotionally as the entity. The old saying, misery loves company, applies to the spirits of the dead just like it does the living. If you find your home has an unwelcome visitor in it, a spiritual visitor, I think the first step that you need to take to resolve the situation would be to look within yourself and determine what traits it is that you have that you're not pleased with, and try and take steps to undo those traits. If you're unhappy constantly, whether it's with your job, with your personal life, some kind of relationship problem, do what it is that you need to do to fix that. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes the entity that is in there, your house, you change your attitude. That's simply all it can take. The entity leaves. This can be the most difficult step since it means we have to let go of whoever it is that's triggering our own bitterness or our own anger. Everybody knows anger and bitterness isn't healthy for you, and even more so if we should die before we resolve these negative emotions and these negative feelings that we're having, because just like I said, you'll carry it with you into the spirit world. Now, sometimes ghosts seem confused. Gee, that would be me if I was a ghost. I would be confused, because let me tell you, buddy, if I have as much trouble being a ghost as I am with getting this software figured out for this stinking radio show, I'm going to be in trouble. But really, seriously, ghosts can seem confused. Hold a mirror up in front of your face. What you see in it right now will be what you would see in it if you were a ghost. And let me try and clarify this. A newly departed ghost, should I say. Hold up a mirror, look at it. If you're a newly departed ghost, that's what you're going to see. Let me try and explain this. Your attitudes and beliefs are still going to be with you. You may still feel that you're alive, and you may wonder why people aren't responding to you. This is often the case when death is sudden and without any kind of a warning. The deceased may not accept the fact that they're dead, and they're still going to try to carry on as if they were alive. The soul is alive and well, but it's confused as to the nature of things. The soul can wander about looking for loved ones, looking for family, looking for friends, all to no avail. And out of desperation, the spirit may attempt to communicate with us, the living, in the only way that it knows possible, which is by moving objects, making sounds, and attempting to get the attention of those of us who are still alive. If a child dies without having someone to meet them on the other side, they may look for their mother or their father or their grandparents, and if they don't find them, they may wander around on this earth plane aimlessly as they conduct their search. During the course of wandering, they may just simply adopt a family to stay with while they're doing their searching. When a ghost adopts a family, we call this a haunting. The child or the children or the spirit of the adult, they often look for homes that resemble the ones that they are from. They also tend to stay in a home where they once lived in their physical lives, like they find comfort in places that they know. Maybe they're looking for someone to love them and to be around them, that someone of a like positive energy. Maybe they just wanted to go back to their favorite study or their favorite bedroom, their favorite area of the house. Who knows? Now let me talk a little bit about the psychology of living in a haunted house, which this can be characterized as like a fearful reaction. The typical response to a haunting, or when you see a ghost, your typical response is to react like, especially if it's in your home, that this is some kind of invasion. A lot of times we can categorize this reaction as something like a panicked fear. We fear what we don't understand, and this fear can cause extreme emotional paranoia, and that paranoia can control our lives. Sometimes this fear can cause a person to just sell their home, move as far away as possible, or become so paranoid that they're constantly checking everything in their house to make sure nothing's moved, nothing's out of place, that nothing's missing, nothing's broken. What's created this environment that allows us to act in irrational ways? What's done this? Well, we've got to consider the source of the fear. What are you scared of? Why should you be scared of a ghost? A ghost is a departed spirit. You can't touch it. It can't physically harm you. Now, I know that you're going to talk about, what about movies like The Entity? What about Poltergeist? These are totally different things, and we'll talk about them in later shows. But right now, for the purpose of this show, let's just say ghosts can't harm us. They can't touch us. We can't touch them. Now, the film industry and radio talk shows, some like this one, can propagate the belief that a normal person doesn't believe in ghosts or haunted houses. Now, shows exactly like mine and shows exactly like Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie and Art Bell, we, of course, believe that normal people can see ghosts, that normal people experience hauntings. But a lot of the film industry people and the skeptic radio talk show people and television people want us to believe that a normal person doesn't believe in ghosts and haunted houses. Hollywood scriptwriters especially can mold society's beliefs about whatever in the heck it is that they want, especially about ghosts and poltergeists, by portraying them as being evil and portraying them as being demonic. Think about it. When's the last time you ever went and saw a movie besides Casper the Friendly Ghost that had a ghost or a spirit or a poltergeist that was friendly? You just don't see that. I think that's probably why Casper the Friendly Ghost probably wasn't all that popular of a movie. You don't want to go see a friendly ghost. You want to go to the movies to be scared when you go see something like that. And what's going to scare you? An unfriendly, demonic, evil spirit. The popular television show Poltergeist: The Legacy, that was on, I think, in the early or mid-90s, it is a perfect example because it portrayed most of the paranormal encounters on that show as conflicts between good and evil, and most of the spirits were like evil demons, and they were battling for the souls of mankind. Well, that's not an accurate portrayal. Unfortunately, the views of shows like this and the skeptics out there who have television and radio talk shows, the viewers and the listeners of these shows can come away with the belief that most encounters with the paranormal results in battles with demonic creatures out of the dark side, demons from hell. A lot of people have come to fear the unknown. Well, I think everybody fears the unknown, and especially anything of a paranormal nature, due to the representation by people in shows like this that they're evil. And we can hear on radio shows or television shows a simple phrase like, normal people do not experience ghosts, or something like, I come from a loving family, so why do I have a ghost in my home? Well, it doesn't matter if you come from a loving family or not. The ghost that is in your home may be a loving ghost. That may be why it chose your family. It may be why it chose your home to haunt. Our fear is the result of a lack of knowledge concerning the world of the dead. Here in America, many well-meaning men of the religious orders, men of the cloth, if you will, have expressed personal views from the pulpit concerning the demonic spirits that surround the living, working to destroy the souls of God-fearing men and women. That's just nothing but pure and plain ignorance from these people. This demonic belief probably, in my opinion, stems from the Middle Ages, and the church was all-powerful, almighty back then. And the church taught that if a person died and his spirit remained trapped here on the earthbound plane, then that person was evil. No matter what he portrayed himself as in life, he could have been a member of the church, he could have been a preacher. If his soul stayed here, he was evil. Good people went to heaven, bad people went to hell. Black and white, plain and simple. Remember, when you're talking about the spirit world, you can't just put it in black and white. There's all those shades of gray that's in the middle. It seems that we're just bombarded with messages suggesting encounters with ghosts are the exception and not the normal. And now I will tell you that if you are experiencing a haunting or have seen a ghost, you are not experiencing or seeing something that just happens only once in a blue moon. Now, there's hundreds of thousands, maybe hundreds of millions of people out there who go their whole entire life without seeing ghosts, without experiencing anything of the paranormal in nature. Hey, that's perfectly fine. But there are also just as many, if not more, people out there who have experienced or seen something that they cannot explain at all. Is it a ghost? Who knows? Probably so. It's no wonder that a person can be shaken up to discover that their home is inhabited by spirits from beyond the grave. People like this need to be re-educated as to the nature of ghosts and why they are present in homes or even in our workplaces. And this goes back to what kind of person you are, what kind of family do you have, what kind of life do you lead. Are you happy-go-lucky? Are you angry and mad all the time? This is what's going to attract these type of spirits to you. Now, understanding what's going on and re-educating people is easily done by coming to terms with whatever the spirit entity is that's in their home, and by realizing that whatever these events are that's going on are probably nothing more than simple pranks played by these spirits, either by design most of the time or even by accident. And they're not personal threats to people's safety, and they're not personal threats to people's well-being. We accept pranks by kids, don't we? We accept pranks by teenagers as something normal for them to do at one time or another. We may not like it, but a lot of the times, especially if it's by a little kid, we don't feel threatened by it. So why should we feel any different when it is a prank that is being played upon you by a ghost, by a spirit? Just like I mentioned earlier, every time you step in the shower, somebody turns off the lights. Some entity, something, turns off the lights in the bathroom. It's nothing more than just a simple prank that's not meant to harm anybody. Why is this? Well, because we understand, or we should understand, that the intent of the prankster is not supposed to make us scared. It's not supposed to make us threatened. Ghosts often respond in the same manner. If a home has spirits of children or teenagers inhabiting it, then some of the pranks will be, of course, juvenile. You need to respond to the pranks that's been initiated by the spirits in the same manner as you would respond as if it were your own kid or a neighbor's kid or a teenager. Hey, cut that out. That's not funny. Don't do that again. This frightens me. Try talking to the spirit. They can pick up on what it is that we're feeling. This vibration that comes out from our spirits, our souls. They can feel it, they can pick up on it. If you find your home, or if you think your home is haunted, first you need to research the history of the home that you're living in to learn if maybe some kind of terrible event took place, like a death by a previous owner or a member of their family. Was there an accident? Was there some sort of illness, violence, suicide, something claimed the life of a young child, of young people, of anyone who was not ready to move on. Maybe they're remaining in the home that they knew as theirs. The natural death that sometimes happens in homes due to either sickness or age normally isn't the trigger to remain behind as a ghost unless that person had such a love for the place that even in death they're not going to leave it. Research has also included in the past, just like, still today, checking with homeowners and that who are living in the area, like neighbors. People live on all sides of you down the street. Check with other homeowners in the area about anything unnatural, such as unnatural deaths or suicides. Maybe they can clue you in on something. Most of the time, the answers will become apparent about why a home may have some kind of paranormal event occurring in it, just from talking to neighbors. Try to avoid labeling these spirit entities as evil or demonic, because they retain the intelligence and the personality that they had when they were alive, and no one likes being labeled something that they're not. So, why would a spirit? Why would a ghost? It's been a lot of ghost hunters and paranormal investigators' experiences that families thinking about moving from a haunted house will completely rethink their position once they understand the situation and come to terms with it. Most of the time, the families don't want their spirits to be removed forcefully, but can consider them as guardian spirits and become very protective of them to outsiders. Well, why would this happen, especially after I was talking about people moving and getting away from what's going on? I don't know. I'm sorry, I just had a little computer glitch here that just totally threw me off of my threw me out of my rhythm. Perhaps it's because they've come to a greater understanding of what's going on, and they feel compassion by extending the hand of friendliness and fellowship and acceptance to these spirits. Now, the fundamental nature of reality is based upon our reception of it. Just like I said, we judge our environment based upon our understanding of what's going on around us. So, if you're not fearing the ghosts anymore, if you're understanding more of why they may be around, it may help you to come to terms with what's going on and extend out that ever-helping hand in opening up your home to a ghost. Folklore suggests that ghosts are just disembodied spirits, and they're nothing more than fragments of emotions left behind after death. These fragments, they're without intelligence and without awareness of themselves, and this is a belief that should have stayed in the Middle Ages as far as I'm concerned, because it's not based on scientific evidence but on tradition and folklore. As I've said, spirits, ghosts, are intelligent, they're emotional, they retain everything that they had in life. Unfortunately, many other traditional ghost hunters still fall victims to these outdated traditions and folklores, these obsolete explanations, especially those ghost hunters who are not researchers, but simply writers who are doing nothing more than repeating ghost tales in books that they may be writing. Many writers in video or film script writers are seeking new material to produce, and they rely heavily on folklore because of its traditions and its historic aspects. Most folklore beliefs can stem from the early 18th century, and the turn of the 19th century weren't based on facts as much as on personal beliefs or religious beliefs. The concept of good and evil is really known only in the Western culture, and a lot of the other cultures don't necessarily see good and evil black and white. Remember 256 Shades of Grey, like I was saying. Now, there are urban legends. Everyone knows about urban legends. Urban legends start out as folklore. They've been written about by, like, glorified ghost investigators who can just really spin a really good tale, but they lack any scientific evidence of the facts that they are reportedly writing about. Some of the more famous urban folk tales are stuff like the Vanishing Hitchhiker, the Woman in White, the railroad tracks of San Antonio. That's a really, really good legend. And I've seen that on TV and stuff, and I've seen recreations of it. And for those of you who don't know about the railroad tracks in San Antonio, supposedly a bus somewhere in San Antonio, bus full of kids stalled on a train track. Train came by, ding, 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 smashed into it, killed all the kids. Now you can park your car on the railroad tracks and shut off the engine, put it in neutral, and you can put like talcum powder or something on the rear of your car, on the trunk, on the bumper, and your car will be pushed out of the way, and you can go and you see the little handprints from the kids. It's a hoax. It's an urban legend. It's not true. In the scientific community, folklore belongs with the fables and wives' tales handed down from generation after generation. The serious ghost hunter is not going to rely upon folklore as facts, but is going to conduct investigations with the scientific tools that he has obtained photographic documentation, and then present their findings of paranormal activity or not. As far as hoaxes go, unfortunately, many researchers are fooled by these because it supports whatever belief it is that they've got. A perfect example of a hoax is the angel hoax that goes around. It started, I think, in the mid-1970s, and it goes something like this, and I'm going to read this directly here. A religious sect decided to send an angel in the cloud photo to those who made contributions to their church. Excuse me. The photos were sent out to Christians worldwide, or all over America anyway, showing what many Christians hoped was Jesus Christ or an angel in the clouds, and it was promoted as actually being real. The story that surrounds the photo is always different, but it usually centers around some religious experience of the photographer, and no negative is ever found. The photo's been reportedly taken from the window of an airplane over South America and over the skies of Texas and even North Carolina. It's also been said to have been taken at a funeral service for a small girl who was killed by a drunk driver. In none of the cases mentioned has a family member or photographer ever provided the proof, such as a negative. In all cases, the photographer is someone close to the family, a father or grandfather or mother who is no longer living. End quote. I know that was a long one. We're still getting reports today of this angel photo being taken by someone who just recently died. So, it's amazing at how some hoaxes just and some urban legends refuse to die. Let's consider the Amityville Horror movie, the book. The Amityville House and the film, the Amityville Horror, it's been established that this was a demonic haunting, and it was a hoax instituted by the owner and two demonologists, ghost hunters, who may or may not have been duped, but who went along with the haunting. However, the demonic activity that was present in the house was actually a hoax to sell the story to the film industry. There was a haunting. It was a typical, normal haunting, but the owners turned the events into saleable material for Hollywood simply for financial gain. Some spiritual mediums or psychics have promoted their products or sold their services to the general public, often to dupe the elderly and the not so intelligent, how their life savings and other fraudulent practices were incorporated to deceive us, the public, often employing things like spirit photography as proof of the claim, or selling like snake oils and stuff to make someone more psychic. Rub some stuff on your forehead and you can communicate with the ghost type stuff. Later, the spiritualist movement, and this was in the early 20th century, it began to fake ghost photography, and this became very common, often because leaders wanted to provide proof to their religious teachings, so it helped that the spirits could be photographed, and they did this by double exposures, rigged photos to provide proof of their claims of the spirit world. Another common practice that developed around this time was the labeling of any kind of paranormal event of being poltergeist activity, especially if it involved moving objects. This practice misled many people in the study of the paranormal. As you all know, or maybe you don't know, poltergeist is a German word that means noisy ghost, and it's applied to things like footsteps, knocking, voices, or anything heard. But it seems that objects that may have are observed moving, the energy causing the movement is not seen. It's invisible. Now, there is a belief out there that as some children enter their teenage years, they are prone to exhibit psychokinetic outbursts that may have been mislabeled as poltergeist activity by parapsychologists. Psychokinetic phenomena is not associated with the spirits of the dead, and it has no place in the study of ghosts. Those researchers who explain hauntings as psychokinetic should never have suggested that the event was even a haunting in the first place. A haunting is an event that is associated with a spirit of the dead and not a psychic event. And for those of you who don't know what psychokinesis is, it is a new term. Well, I say new term. It's not new anymore, but it's the term telekinesis, which is the ability to move objects with your mind. That's what has this psychokinesis has replaced that. Now, we're going to end up tonight, and I'm going to talk real quick about sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is a common yet little-known medical sleep disorder that affects probably about 1 out of every 2 Americans, so the research says. The person is asleep, and they suddenly find themselves awakened by something pressing down on their chest, obstructing their normal breathing. The person is now awake. He's frightened. He fights for his life while feeling this pressure on his chest or around their throat. Most often this experience is mistakenly labeled as a demonic presence with evil intentions. It's also been known to, the most common mislabeling of it is, I've been kidnapped by aliens. Often the person experiencing this disorder sees like a black figure or some sort of blurry figure or almond-shaped eyed figure standing next to their bed. This sleep disorder is very common, and it's always described pretty much the same manner of everyone that experiences. The more religious the person it is, the more demonic the pressure is claimed to be. This is not related to spirits of the dead or to UFOs or to kidnappings, but it's a medical disorder. And like I said, most people will experience this at least one time during their life. Now that's a lot. But it is not due to hauntings, ghosts, or alien abductions. Let's see if I have anyone in the old chat room. Nope, don't have anyone in the old chat room tonight. Yet, that is.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
Well, there we go. Still experiencing just a few minor glitches, problems in the system. I was hoping I'd have someone in the chat room tonight. Last show I had somebody in the chat room, but I couldn't get them to talk to me. They were freaking just scared, I guess. Anyway, that's my show about understanding spirits of the dead. I hope that I have opened your eyes a little bit to about what's going on with the dead and how you can better understand them and how you can better, not necessarily communicate, but how you can open up some sort of, well, I can't think of a better word except for line of communication, but I think you know what I'm trying to say, how to open up yourself to be a little bit more receptive to what's going on if you're having a haunting, if you're experiencing a haunting. speaking of hauntings, by the way, I am going next month, hopefully the first weekend of the month. That'd be February, the weekend of February 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the first weekend of the month. I'm going down to Jackson, Mississippi to do a investigation of a possible haunting in someone's attic down in Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm still working on getting that all set up. It's not written in stone yet, but I'm working on it, and if I do get to go down there, I will do a show about it before the end of the month of February. I'm very excited about that. I'm looking forward to it. I think that's going to be a pretty good haunting, and I'm not going to say too much about it, just except to say that it's in Jackson, Mississippi. Supposedly there is a haunting in an attic, and it's supposed to be a ghost that has followed somebody from a different location. So this ought to be a pretty good thing. And if I do get to go down there, I'll do a show about it in the month of February. Now, if you're listening to this show and it is not Saturday, February the 20, I think I was saying it was the 23rd earlier, but it's really the 24th. If you're listening to this show and it is not Saturday, January 24th, 2004, you are listening to a rebroadcast of this show. So, if it's anywhere after tonight, you are not listening to a live show, you're listening to a rebroadcast. Now, my next live show is not going to be until the 20th of February. That's on a Friday night. It is the next to last Friday of the month. However, there will be a recorded show, a brand new recorded show that will make its debut on Friday, February the 6th. The reason for that is because I'm planning to be in Jackson, Mississippi on that day, and I'll be doing an investigation hopefully on Friday the 6th or Saturday the 7th, but I will have a pre-recorded show that will make its debut on Friday, February the 6th, 2004, at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, as I keep saying in my emails to my fans out there, and as I close my shows, tune in, and find out what the show's going to be about. And hopefully, if I do get to do my investigation, the live show on February the 20th will be about the results of that investigation. Now, I didn't do News of the Strange. My last live show. Didn't really have a lot of time to do any research on News of the Strange, but there wasn't a lot going on anyway, and there's still not a lot. And like I said, I used to do this back when I was on the other network, and I got some pretty good responses out of it. I'm going to keep it up until you guys tell me that it sucks and you don't want to hear me do it anymore. So with that being said, let me report on News of the Strange. We're going to open up the News of the Strange, and this is a story that's a couple of weeks old. I've been trying to follow it, but I'm not having very much success with what is being done about it and what the latest updates are. So if you hear of anything after I read you the story, you'll probably recognize it. If you hear of anything about what the final results is with this story, please give me an email. Drop me an email to PRRadio@50g.com, and that is not the word 50G. It's the number 50G.com. And, you know, that sounded cool when I first got that email address, but it's really complicated if I say 50g.com. So I'm going to change that as soon as I get around to it. But 50g.com, that's PRRadio@50g.com. The number 50, the letter G.com. PRRadio@50g.com. If you happen to hear what is the end result of this story, and just to clue you in, listen to this. This is taking place in Troy, Michigan. This report comes from Troy, Michigan, should I say. The Detroit area police are looking for a man who's broadcasting rude remarks to Burger King customers at the drive-thru window. Police in Troy told the Detroit News Thursday that the man has interrupted business transactions. At that point in time, it was 3 times, with obscene comments to startled customers. When the 41-year-old manager went outside to apologize to the customers and look for the source of the dirty talk, a voice was heard booming out of the outdoor speaker, and this is a quote, "There's nothing you or the police can do about this, so get your fat ass back inside and take your goons with you." This is all according to Troy Police Lieutenant Jerry Sherlink. Police suspect that the calls are being made by a radio transmitter or walkie-talkie somewhere near the restaurant. Now, I think that's just freaking hilarious, man. Haven't you always wanted to do some sort of crap like that? You know what? Me and my best friend did that a long, long time ago back in Alabama, and I'm not going to mention the name of the town. Oops, someone just popped into my chat room, and before I could type anything like a welcome message, they popped right back out. You suck, whoever you were. Miss whatever a lot was your name. It was Miss something a lot. You suck out there on Yahoo, whoever you are. Anyway, my best friend and I were back in my hometown in Alabama at the McDonald's, and I had a 2-way radio. I was the member of a volunteer rescue squad at the time, and we communicated with 2-way radios, and it just so happened that I had a radio that had police frequencies on it, and there was a couple of channels on that radio that had what they call body mics. And one of the body mic channels was the exact same frequency as the drive-thru headset crap for McDonald's. And we discovered it totally by accident one night as we were in McDonald's eating dinner. And we could hear over the radio what the people were ordering and what the person was saying in the drive-thru. And we started we didn't we didn't cuss or anything like that, but someone would say, I want a Big Mac with a large order of fries and a large Coke. And we would, talk on the radio and we'd say, and 5 cheeseburgers, 3 large fries, 22 shakes, But we didn't make national headlines like this guy's doing. I just think it's hilarious. I mean, if, I am the inventor of this type of crap. How come I didn't get my dang stuff in the paper like that? I'm pissed off. Anyway, it was the most funniest shit I had ever heard of at the time. I was just freaking hilarious. My best friend, and I'm not going to name names, he thought it was funny too. And if you're listening out there, hey, you know who you are, and guess what? I know you remember it. Moving right along. In Owensboro, man, I just about couldn't read that. In Owensboro, Kentucky, no, I'm sorry, I can't even read my own stuff here. God, I am such a dang idiot. In Anderson, Indiana, I wasn't going to do the Owensboro, Kentucky story. In Anderson, Indiana, listen to this. This is really sad. A 6-year-old boy found a new toy while he was riding in the back seat of his mother's SUV. The toy, a .38 caliber revolver. He picked up the gun and accidentally fired it. He shot his mother as she was driving. According to Indiana State Police Trooper Robert May, Tamika R. Wilson was driving on the Interstate 69, by the way. She was driving on Interstate 69 with her son and her sister when the boy discovered a duffel bag under the seat and pulled out the gun. The gun discharged while he was playing, and it sent a bullet through the back of the driver's seat. Miss Wilson was struck above the waist. Trooper May said that, "I reached in and grabbed the gun from him. I ended up making him a balloon toy Wilson was taken to the hospital and listed in stable condition after she had to have surgery. The boy, of course, could not be held responsible in the shooting, and the accident is remaining under investigation. Now, I file that under my stupid fucking parents file. I mean, that's just, you don't have a gun around kids. Not, you got to have it secured in some way, locked up or something. I mean, Jesus Christ, people, come on. I can't. You have to have a license to do everything around here, except for have kids. Jeez, the stupidity of people never ever ceases to amaze me. And speaking of stupid, this is some genuine driving test answers. These are real answers from driving school, received on exams given by, of all places, the California Department of Transportation. Listen to this. If you want to talk about some idiots out there, don't go to California, because it's scary. Here's the first question. Do you yield when a blind pedestrian is crossing the road? The answer? This is what someone put down now. What for? He can't see my license plate. Question number 2. Who has the right-of-way when 4 cars approach a 4-way stop at the same time? The answer? The pickup truck with the gun rack and the bumper sticker saying, "Guns don't kill people, I do." Question number 3. When driving through fog, what should you use? Answer: your car. Question number 4. What changes would occur in your lifestyle if you could no longer drive lawfully? Answer: I would be forced to drive unlawfully. Question number 5. What are some points to remember when passing or being passed? Answer: make eye contact and wave hello if he or she is cute. And finally, question number 6. No, there's one more after this. I'm sorry. Question number 6. What is the difference between a flashing red traffic light and a flashing yellow traffic light? Answer: the color. And here we go finally with our final answer. How do you deal with heavy traffic? Answer: heavy psychedelics. These are the type of idiots that are out there in California driving. You people who wrote those answers should be shot. I know you're trying to be cute, but you're idiots. There are nothing but idiots in California. My God, don't ever go out there. Woo-hoo. And now, before I end the show, since I'm talking about the news, I'm going to give everyone out there who is listening a scoop, because this is not supposed to be released until Friday, February the 13th of 2004, but yours truly here at ParaReality Radio, that's me, Sandman, came across this scoop while I was doing some research on the internet, and I am very pleased to be making this announcement worldwide. That's right, worldwide on the air right now as you are listening. This is an exclusive movie scoop from Sandman here at ParaReality Radio. And I'm going to read you right directly from this, okay? There is going to be another Friday the 13th movie. That's right, Friday the 13th, Part 11, the next chapter. That is the working title right now. The distributor is New Line Cinema and associated with Crystal Lake Entertainment. Screenwriters are Matt Greenberg, who was co-writer of Halloween H2O and Reign of Fire, those terrific movies. Sarcasm there. Sean S. Cunningham, of course, is going to be the producer. He produced the original Friday the 13th. The executive producer is Robert Shea, who produced Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Jason X. The director is Adam Marcus, and he's just to be the rumored director. He also directed Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Kane Hodder is officially signed on to play Jason Voorhees, and it's also rumored in talks that Corey Feldman is going to be signing on to play a role in the movie. It's going to be filmed in Vancouver, Canada, and parts of New Jersey, where the original Friday the 13th was filmed. Right now, it's in pre-production development. The projected release date is Friday, May 13th, 2005, or sometime in August of 2005. Now, remember, this is a worldwide movie scoop. This is not supposed to be announced until Friday, February the 13th, 2004, but you're hearing it first right here on ParaReality Radio. Now, here's the plot. Some legends never die, especially those we can't forget. In the 11th installment to the popular Friday the 13th franchise titled Friday the 13th 11, The Next Chapter, it will reunite the original creators' concepts for the series along with new and exciting revelations of today. The film takes place following the events moment after Jason X, where Jason will be confronted by an old foe, brought to his knees and held captive at a maximum security genetic research facility. Having the series live to true form, Jason has escaped and will stop at nothing to do what he has failed to do 3 times, which is kill Tommy Jarvis. In his quest for vigilance, Jason will cross paths with a group of teenagers, having a magnificent time at the abandoned Camp Crystal Lake with fun, games, drugs, and, of course, premarital sex, and some slaughtering, which will finally lead to a showdown between the maniacal Jason Voorhees and the man he despises the most, Tommy Jarvis, the only person to escape Jason's wrath 3 times. More mayhem and macabre awaits when Friday the 13th, Part 11, The Next Chapter, comes to a theater near you. That's my worldwide breaking story. You heard it first here on ParaReality Radio. Remember, Sandman was the one that told you. Friday the 13th, Part 11, The Next Chapter. Well, I don't know about you, but I thought the first 3 movies of Friday the 13th were pretty good. All the rest of them were shit. But I've seen all of them but Jason X. And the reason I've seen all of them is because I'd seen the ones before. So, probably I got to go rent Jason X just to keep up my streak. And probably going to have to go see Friday the 13th, Part 11, The Next Chapter, whenever it comes out. So, with that being said, let me sign off. And before I sign off, I'm going to, once again, tell all of you guys about the sponsor, a new sponsor of the show, my first official sponsor of ParaReality Radio, Vlad's Vault, www.vladsvault.com. It's a horror movie review site where you can read reviews or post a review of your own. There's lots of links to other horror-related sites there. You can also find a filmography of some of your favorite horror actors, and there's also a nice collection of horror-related wallpaper for you to download. Or simply visit the forums section and state whatever's on your mind. www.vladsvault.com. Tell Vlad and Igor that Sandman sent you. Well, that's about all the time I have for tonight. Kind of ran over a little bit, but that's okay because I was late getting on the air anyway. So I'm going to sign off. The next live show will be Friday, February 20th, 2004, 10 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Will be a pre-recorded show between now and then. Next scheduled show is going to be Friday, the 6th of February, 2004, 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. If this is not Saturday, the 24th of January 2004, you have been listening to a rebroadcast of Understanding Spirits of the Dead with me, Sandman, here on ParaReality Radio. So until I talk to you people out there next time, I thank everyone for tuning in. I thank the people who tried to come into my talk show. And I hope that I'll have, in the end of February, a nice report on my haunted house investigation. So until I talk to everyone out there next time, be safe. Remember, turn on, tune in, and find out. This has been Sandman with ParaReality Radio. We'll see you later.